For better perspective on this very case, we're going to bring in Lewis and Clark law professor Tung Yin.
Professor, thank you for joining us. I know it's not wise to guess what a jury will do in a case like this, but why did so many legal experts expect a guilty verdict in this case?
Why did so many experts expect a guilty verdict? Actually, it's kind of interesting. On a listserv I was on, I think there was a little more skepticism about getting convictions on all three counts. But I think in large part, this is one of these cases where you have video evidence of the entire incident or most of the incident as it occurred. You have multiple eyewitnesses, and you really have no dispute about who the perpetrator would be. Really, it's a question of whether, I guess, there was a cause of death and the mental state. So a lot of the normal questions have been pruned out of the case. We don't have a dispute about who was involved and so forth.
Well, Tung, so this trial lasted for close to 3 weeks. And then once the jurors had their time to deliberate, they deliberated for close to 10 hours. So taking them about that much time to finally reach their verdict. Can you talk about why you think that took that amount of time? 10 hours wasn't what a lot of people expected. They thought it might actually last longer in terms of how long they would deliberate.
Yeah, again, without being in the jury room, it's hard to know exactly. But if you consider the O.J. Simpson trial lasted 9 months and the jury deliberated well less than or fewer than 10 hours. So some of it could be that although jurors are not supposed to make up their minds as the trial goes along, that as they were listening to the evidence, they were starting to have a picture in their head. And then really the question is just going through the elements of the particular crime.
Professor Yin, now we move on to the next phase of this trial. That's the sentencing. I think the judge said today that would be in about 8 weeks. So what will the judge look at as we move into the sentencing phase?
So typically you would have a probation officer go and create a pre-sentence report. And so the probation officer will interview witnesses, perhaps a lot of family members, in this case, George Floyd's surviving family members, offer to speak to the defendant if the defendant is willing to speak, and maybe defendant's friends and family members to present a bigger picture of the people who are involved. So the judge can take that into account. I think Minnesota actually has an enhancement because this crime occurred in front of a child, 9-year-old child, that can be a sentencing enhancement. Some of the other factors that a judge might consider, again, just looking at, in some ways, the closest parallel that jumps to mind would be the trial of the officers who beat Rodney King. Of course, that was not a murder case, but we did have officers who were caught on videotape engaging in a brutal attack on an unarmed person. And in the federal trial of the officers, which resulted in conviction of 2 of them, the judge gave lesser sentences than were normally recommended because the judge found that they were police officers and would be vulnerable in prisons based on their status. So, that might be something the judge would take into account. There's obviously a lot of aggravating factors that can make this call for a heavier sentence than normal as well.
Okay, Lewis and Clark law professor Tung Yin, thank you so much for your perspective on this historic day.